Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, to the Perfect One, to the Supremely Enlightened One. Grateful salutations to our teacher, Most Venerable Padabhante. Salutations to Guru Bhante and Most Venerable members of the Mahasangha, Anand Bhante, Venerable Dhammaratna Bhante, and the Holy Sangha on the dais. Dear Venerable Harmonious, Anagarikas, Upasakas and Upasikas. Namo Buddhaya. And a very, very hearty welcome to all of you this beautiful Sunday Dhamma morning. Yeah, we have started this morning with Dhamma. Usually people seek out their happiness by going out somewhere else. It was there at the time of the Buddha, and even now it is there. But the people having right view and wisdom and understanding and having that faith in the Dhamma, they will come to the viharas like you, finding that true happiness by listening the Dhamma, by reciting the Dhamma, by meditating, by discussing, by undertaking these Panchashilas. And this, during this time, this very chaotic, very disturbing, ever changing circumstances, practice of Dhamma indeed becomes a necessity. It becomes so essential that we must understand Dhamma is really bring about the happiness, prosperity. It actually protects us in so many ways. To begin this discourse, of course, we'll be talking about what are the dhammas that we should uphold in our life that should bring harmony, that should bring unity in our family, in our society, in wherever we live, in a groups or in a broader sense in the world as such. And what happens when there is no unity? It so happened during the Buddha's time that King Ajatasattu, you must have heard King Ajatasattu, the king of Magadha. Now this King Ajatasattu wanted to conquer this Vajjian kingdom. Vajji even a very powerful and democratic, very stable kingdom. Those time Vajji was a democratic country, Vaishali, very powerful country. But King Ajatasattu wanted to conquer and invade his kingdom, and he was looking for how to do that. And then he has an idea that if I sent my minister Vasakara to them and then create a division among these kings, Vajjian kings, then it is easy for me to conquer them. So he devised this plan because nowadays, like a spy, like India sends some spy to some other countries and then find out what they're going on. So like that. So he sent Vasakara. But he simply couldn't send like that. He thoroughly beat Vasakara, tortured him nicely, so that the opposite people, they don't understand that Vasakara is really fleeing the country and taking asylum in another country. So he created that sort of a drama and thoroughly beaten off this fellow, and this Vasakara, out of sheer agony, and he just fled Magadha and went to this country, Vajjian country. And then these kings, They couldn't understand why Vasakara came to our country and he is seeking refuge here instead of um, in Magadha country. So now Vasakara, since he was a minister and a very wise teacher, so he finally became the teacher for them, for Vajjian kings. Now Vasakara, although he became a royal teacher for them, but his intention was to create schism, create discord among them. So slowly, Vasakara, you know, through his tactics, through his ulterior motives, he started to create a schism among them. And finally, this Bhajian kingdom, they never meet. Usually they meet together, they discuss together. You know, there used to be very strong unity among them. Now, due to this Vasakara and his advice, they didn't meet at all. And then there used to be a disunity continue to happen in that kingdom. So in that situation, King Ajatasattu thought, well, now it is the right time for me. When there is no unity prevailing in that country, let me attack them. So he raised an army and easily win over Vaisali. So this situation, this example, shows us that when there is unity, then we are all strong. When there is unity among even our countries, our fellow citizens, in our families, in our society, then we have harmony and we all grow together in blessings, in prosperity, and so on. Well, now, how, if this is the case, so harmony, you have to preserve this harmony, you have to protect this harmony through Dhamma. If even our leaders or our everybody they understand the importance of this, then they will uphold the Dhamma. In this case, what is that Dhamma the Buddha taught us? That what, which principles we should uphold, should practice in our life, so that we can achieve this harmonious living, peaceful living. In a family, you all know, in a family you have two, three, four people, even nobody listens each other. Sometimes our actions may differ. Sometimes, most of the time, our thoughts, our views are so different. We don't have a common goal. We have a lot of negative qualities. You know, we become so judgmental, so subjective. Lot of malice, lot of jealousy, lot of ill will, lot of anger, and many things. So, so nobody really work on that. And all these things happens right from the mind. If our mind is calm and pure, then we will act in a good way, in a wholesome way, not in an unwholesome way. For instance, even our speech becomes so divisive. You don't think that speech, our word, bring unity in the world. Our only speech brings unity. But that same speech can become a terrible force to divide and quarrel. If you understand the quality of metta, the first quality is the Buddha talks about, that this Dhamma, Buddha says, there are 6 such qualities of friendliness, of harmonious living. Chaimani bhikkhave saraniya Dhamma, saraniya, living in harmony, living peacefully in every situation. That is called saraniya, cordial living. Are you living like that? You have to ask the questions. Am I living to that? Or am I living completely opposite, Whichever I go in my family, problem, quarrels. Going on to the office, no unity. Going to anywhere, same problem I'm facing every time. And why it is like that? Why can I find an environment and place where I find everything is so perfect or so suitable? So we always think the weakness is lying outside. We trying to perfect the external world, but but we don't really look inside. Now, first Buddha says metta, right? Now you already practiced, just now you practiced metta. Now what you wish? May I be well and happy. May my family be well and happy. May the people, my relations, relatives be well and happy. Society be well and happy. Right? That means it is a noble thought, it is a sublime thought that really brings unity and harmony. Once you develop that metta, and your action will also be synchronized with your thought. The person who is practicing metta, he will not cause suffering to others. He always wishes, may such person be happy, and his action is like that. He will practice metta as a virtue, virtuous quality of loving deeds and loving speech. Now, many times, our own actions, without knowing that our own actions creating misery for others and ourselves. The moment you do some unwholesome, unskillful actions, then you are miserable. The moment you speak unwholesome, unskillful speech, then you are miserable. You are not happy. Forget about metta. There is no metta. Not neither for yourself, not for other person, not for your family or people who whatsoever. So we understand that through our mind, if we practice metta as a mano karma, metta has three aspects. Metta as a kaya karma, metta as a vachi karma, metta as a. If you read the Karaniya Metta Sutta, how wonderfully there's a inspiring discourse on loving kindness. How the Buddha here emphasis on the qualities, the virtues that we should cultivate, including our speech. Sako ujucha sujucha subachocha samudu anatimani. You should understand there are 16 such virtuous behavior in Metta Sutta. So metta, as a first the Buddha says metta manokama, metta should be cultivated. Why metta should be cultivated? So that our mind is filled with the sublime qualities of universal love. In this, we don't expect anything. We wish happiness without any return. Not only that, then once you develop metta, and then karuna also comes. You're trying to remove the suffering of others. Altruistic joy, instead of jealousy, you find mudita, altruistic joy with others' happiness. Now it is very common. Do you feel happy with others' success? Do you feel happy, rejoice? Unlikely, right? In very small, tiny matters, very little things, you don't feel, mudita, no mudita. You're so jealous. Maybe somebody is getting promotions, you are not. Somebody having good things in life, you don't have this. You're trying to compare and then think, well, why I'm not getting, why he is getting. So, so many ways. The first factor is here, metta is a lokapalaka dhamma. It is a protective qualities. Everybody should practice, either through your mind. Once you developed it, And then you'll see your action. You become so cautious. You become so mindful with your actions, with your speech. And then you come into the next part is dhanam, sharing, attitude of sharing without any reservation. Now, when you share your material things. Monks, we share Dhamma. Buddha says, Dhamma Dhanam Amatang Dadohoti. One who shares Dhamma is not sharing only Dhamma or words, is sharing this deathless Amatang Padang. Is giving you this deathless stage. Right from the Sammasambuddha, the Agasavakas, Mahasavakas, till that, till Bhadabante's time, we are all fortunate to receive this Dhamma Dana. But forget about that. Even a little bit of sharing, whatever knowledge you have or any material stuff you have, anything, person who is deserving, in need, you should share. Not all the time we should always expect, I may get it, I will get it. But at the same time, we also trying to give. You just not become receiver all the time. We should also give, right? You want to be a receiver at the receiving end, but try to also give certain things. In that way, you are bringing these qualities of also strengthening metta and then bringing about this harmony. You can start these sharing qualities in your family among each other. Then you'll see how harmonious. So, in many such occasions, Buddha encouraged the lay practitioners. The dana is actually a quality which is very essential for householders that brings, you know, togetherness or unity. Now, we learned about metta, three qualities metta, manokamma, metta as a kaya kamma, metta as a vachi kamma, right? And then dana, sharing without any reservation, without any expectation, giving. Dana is such qualities, it is the foundation of spiritual life. Buddha says, Dana, Thanang, Manusanang. Dana is the foundation. In whatever forms, it's not just material thing. In any ways, how you are helping. That is removing a junk of your attachment, your covetousness, your holding attitude, holding up and giving a little bit so that may all be happy and the other person also, be happy. So the receiver also happy because he gets something and the giver also happy because he gets merit. Do you believe in punya, right? The dana brings punya. When you are sharing, you may ask me, what do I gain by giving? And again, you put a conditions. What do I gain by giving? Nothing. You gain only merit, punya. And that punya is your resource, is your wealth. That punya is something which is more worthier, more valuable than this material thing. If you look at the life of Lord Buddha, even as a bodhisattva, you know, dana he has practiced up to the maximum, highest level. Dana as a parami, dana as a upaparami, and paramattha parami. The point when he even has given his own life, dana. Just like a pot, just upside down, even there is no drop of water remains, it's empty to that point. Bodhisattva Sumedha story, you all know. Sumedha is going to become, you know, the city of Amaravati, the richest person, having 7 generations from father's side, 7 generations from mother's side, you know, kind of prestige, everything. But he didn't want that. He says, I will give up and lead a recluse life, lead a samana life. He gave up. And then he wandered into the woods in the search of enlightenment. That is how he started his journey, right from the first life as a Bodhisattva Sumedha till the end, till the last birth stories. What was that? Which Jataka is the last Jataka? Vasantara Jataka. In that also he perfected dana, dana paramis. So, to give you an illustrations, now how? Our dana parami. That was Buddha's dana parami. When we misunderstood your dana parami, how are we going to cultivate your dana parami? By practicing dana, generosity, giving without any conditions, giving without any reservation. Okay, whether that person shows gratitude to you or not, you know, that is another thing. But you practice dana as a spiritual value, spiritual virtues. And then coming to the next part, how our own virtues, our own sila brings unity. Now, take for instance, sila brings unity. How? Now, without knowing that, not being aware that our actions bring miseries, right? As I said earlier, we cause and inflict suffering by harming others. You know, first precept, manantipata. You know, how? When you are mindful that my actions create problems and sufferings, I will not behave in such a manner so that the other person or the living beings, including animals, including plants, or even nature, as such, harmony. Then we have harmony there. Likewise, injustice, immoral behavior with our, adinandana. You are not the owner, but you are in a wrongful manner, you possess something, not aware that this will also create suffering for others. In unjustful way, we trying to, you know, own something or any possessions, but then we create poverty. We create poverty, we create problems for others. The third precept is like that, disloyalty. When you are not loyal, you are not respecting to the love, but again with your desire and cravings, you go on and on. And what you do is create suffering again. By speaking falsely, untruthfully, unkindly, you create problems, disunity. By consuming something which is not worthwhile, wrong consumptions, right? Not good for the body, you are spoiling your health, you are confusing your mind, you are losing a great chance to practice Dhamma. You understand the value of morality. These precepts is not just reciting. These silas is so much deep meaning that it actually connected to our own life. We have to see them in our daily life. How it brings unity, and at the same time, how it creates unthinkable miseries and problems. When we understand in this way, when you are mindful and aware, that our own actions creating this, then we become more mindful and then we're trying to follow the precept, the sila. No? Sila is not just, remembering and, reciting in viharas. Sila, when you're going out or at homes, at your workplace, everywhere, you have to uphold that value. Then you will say, you have virtues, nothing to worry, nothing to fear. You can face. You don't have any remorse. You have unity and you bring about unity. Your presence, wherever you go, you brings that unity. So, virtues, sila, it is helps us, to bring unity in the family. For example, in a family, in a society, now we see, you know, why there is all these problems, disturbances in the families, no peace, no harmony, nothing. Because there's not a single thread which they hold, which can hold them together, bind them together. That is virtues. Now, coming to last previous part, I remember how Bhadabante used to set up a system here in monasteries. Everything that we get as a dana, Bhante put it in the Sangha stores and everything, and we shared all the monks, right from the seniority to the lowest uh, small monk. Everybody will get something. That is a beautiful system of sharing, not keeping everything for ourselves. Mm. Therefore, monks in the monasteries have in hundreds of numbers, no problem, very happy and harmonious, no, nothing, right? Living in harmony, and that is the joy. Whereas in the families, we have everything seems to be very so perfect, but again, two persons' mind don't match. There is no harmony, and therefore we lacking in joy. We lacking in being a family life, living in the family. But on the other hand, in the opposite side, if we have a virtues that can commonly, unite us, that can helps us to, live together harmoniously, following the precepts together, then you will see life is really beautiful. And all these factors so far I have said about metta, sharing, or the virtues. And again, it leads to the views. If we have right views in the right directions, a common goal, you know, then it is even more easier. No doubt, living in the society, we all have different kind of views. But views should be in line with the Dhamma, not to the extreme side, where views can lead us sufferings, not end up suffering. Now our views so wrong and sometimes so it is, you know, goes with ignorance or with tanha or is not understanding the truth. In such kind of case, our view is not correct. Our view. Our view is not in line with the truth. And then that wrong views can lead us a tremendous amount of suffering again. But when you have replaced that wrong views with right views, you know, views that the path leading to the end of suffering. The right view, here the simple way, if I put it, right view is the view of understanding the Dhamma, knowing that Dhamma is the path to liberation. And then all your conflict, misunderstanding cease. You don't have to misunderstand it. You don't have to doubt anything. Dhamma is there, path is there, and the Sangha is there. You follow that patiently, perseveringly, then you reach your goal ultimately. So when you have set the goal and then we follows the path and fulfills our paramis, sooner or later we will arrive at our destination. So this is the way it is, and you should all understand that why I'm giving this importance to living with harmony, living with joy. It also applies to different countries. Also, now we see how the situation is so tensed among different countries for their own interest. Countries may attack another country, you know, due to some resources, maybe even the natural resources, or owing to the fact that making one country as superior, powerful than another country. So there is absolutely no harmony, unity. If they understand the Buddha's teachings, the Dhamma, then all these conflict situations, all these fighting and, you know, raging war against each other will come to an end. So today, so far, we discussed, as I said, this, you can explore more on this. And it will not just come by one time listening. You have to reflect this, reflect upon again and again. And then this Dhamma becomes Sanditthika Dhamma. Dhamma becomes visible here and now, right now. And this will be your own experience. Okay? So I think my time is up now. We understood 6 qualities. First is, as I said, metta as a both in mind, metta, manokamma, vachikamma, and kaya kamma. Metta as a factors, as important qualities and sublime qualities to unite, living with amity, living with cordiality. Very much important for householders, even of course for monasteries. Our we all live like that. But nowadays, in this rapidly changing society, who cares what the next door does? Nobody knows. Or neighbors doing? No one knows. See? But what is happening within us? Are we living in harmoniously, sharing with each other, caring for each other, talking to them nicely, pleasantly, helping them with our physical actions, wishing my friend or my son or daughter, my brothers, sisters be happy? Do you wish that? You should ask, am I wishing that way? Am I living with that? My action, is it in line with his Dhamma or not? And then the dana, as I said, sharing. Why? Also, I told you why we should share. Giving an example of Bodhisattva Sumedha and his previous birth stories, Parabhante's example, and many great teachers, how they live, you know, and your own virtues. Virtues is very fundamental principles, whether at your family, your personal level, or society, wherever you live. These virtues are real source of your blessings, and then correcting your views, your own views. Sometimes changing your views is also good. Not holding on to my views is right, other view is not right. Sometimes both the views are not right. There may be something else. The truth may be altogether different. So, with this message, I just live at this point. So, this discourse is from Saraniya Dhamma from Anguttara Nikaya, number 6. You can read that with us yourself and contemplate on that. May the blessings of Lord Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha surround your life with wisdom, well being, and happiness. May you all grow in Dhamma and blessings. Sukhino Bhavantu.